Am I on? I'm on. All right, cool. So, um, yeah, what's up? Thanks. Uh, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really stressed out from this week, and I'm really tired, and I'm looking forward to just sitting and talking with y'all. So, take some time and slow down from school and just relax a little and breathe, because that's what I need to do. So first, I want to share with you guys kind of my story and just why I am who I am. And I'm going to intro it just by saying there's, I guess, like three really like main things I hope that y'all can grab from this, or that when you walk out of here, maybe you can connect with. And the first one would be that I'm not perfect, and that God is certainly in my life, but in no way do I never sin, or do I never struggle with a lot of sin. And I think that that's important for y'all to know, that we are all the same. Second is that God restores broken people. No matter how broken we are, He'll restore us. And the third is that God is not realistic. And so I'm going to touch on all those things as I go through my story. All right, so I moved around a lot as a kid. I've got great parents who love me a whole lot, and I've got a younger sister and an older brother. We didn't go to a lot of church growing up. We were Catholic, and we would go maybe a couple months out of the year. We'd have like a good streak, and then baseball season would start up, or we'd go for Christmas and Easter and that kind of stuff. So we would talk about God, but it wasn't a big topic for sure. But my parents always taught us to be good people, to don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, treat people the way that you want to be treated, and just try to be a good person. So then in high school, we're going to jump to high school. I really never struggled with a lot of things in terms of just the regular high school sins, but my big thing was just girls, honestly. I mean, that was kind of where my head was at, and I just spent a lot of time chasing after that. And with whatever sin I was in, I was able to hide it really well. So like I was a decent kid who cared about people, that's for sure. And I mean, I wasn't whatever. I was okay. But I was able to hide it through lying or through covering it up and making it look like I was okay, because I felt like I could talk good enough to get my way through a lot of things. So I used that, I guess, to my advantage. And a lot of you can probably relate with that. So I get out of high school, and I come to Lipscomb. Now, my story coming to Lipscomb is very, very different. I think God really just kind of put me where I needed to be. So what happened was I was going to take a year off of school and not go to college in the normal time frame. And I was calling around to different schools doing over-the-phone interviews and stuff like that. On a Friday in August, after my senior year of high school, I called Lipscomb and I talked to the over-the-phone interviewer guy. And when we got done, he said, well, hey, there's freshman dorm rooms open still. And if you want to come, you can. And at that time, I was looking to play golf somewhere. I'm on the golf team here. And he said, if you wanted to walk on, I'm sure you'd have the opportunity to. So that was a Friday in August. I packed on Saturday, and I drove down here on Sunday. I had never been to Nashville. I'd never been to Lipscomb. I really didn't know anybody. I came from a high school of just under 5,000 students, and so I never saw myself at a college smaller than that. This is certainly not in my plan, and never would I have said I would end up at Lipscomb University. And so that's my quick story of how I ended up here, and then what God has done since then. So my freshman year, I get here, and blatantly I'm kind of like a tool, basically. And I was very little kiddish, and talked a lot and stuff like that. And so I wanted to be cool, right? And at Lipscomb, the cool thing to do is to be a Christian. And so I started hanging out with a lot of really good guys, though, and they were really kind of mentoring me without really it being anything official. And so I would go and I'd pray with them, and I'd do things like that. And at first, like, I don't know if I started doing those things because it's what the people around me were doing, or because that's what I wanted to do. I certainly in high school had seeds planted. I went to like Young Life and things like that, and so I knew of the story of God, but it was nothing that I lived out on a day-to-day basis that I was really like personal with. And so those guys I started hanging out with, really poured into me a lot. My freshman year in January, I got baptized, and to much of your surprise, not everything was perfect after then. I still sinned a lot, and I still was caught up in tons of just temptation. So I go from my freshman year, I'm now decided I'm going to live my life for God. And what does that mean now? So I've decided this huge decision. And so I go home, and I'm still struggling with all the temptations that are back home. I'm still struggling with with girls and stuff like that. I come back my sophomore year, and I start dating someone. And that relationship taught me a ton. And she was a great person, but we had a pretty unhealthy relationship, emotionally, physically, spiritually, everything. And the thing about that is that there were people who thought we were great, because here at Lipscomb, it's pretty easy to, if you're two Christians and you like each other, then apparently you are getting married, because that is all you need. That's all the criteria there is. And so the funny thing about it is that we had people, I had people my junior year, after we had already broken up, come up and be like, man, you guys were so great together. I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm like, what is he talking about? You don't know. So I learned so much from that, though. So then the summer between my sophomore and junior year, I went to a camp called Kanakuk, and I was a counselor there, and I taught golf. And that camp, God was able to show me so much through that place. And he gave me so much little nuggets of wisdom. And I feel like that's just kind of like what he does. Like, as we grow deeper, as we get more disciplined, as we struggle and we fail and then we succeed, he drops little things on our hearts that he wants to tell us. And so one thing that I learned, that when I said that God restores people, this was at Kanakuk that summer. Before the campers come, all of us counselors have to kind of beautify the camp. And so what we did was, for the horseshoe pit, I was in charge, me and another group of people were in charge of, we had to dig out these old railroad ties that were outlining the horseshoe pit, and we had to put brand new ones in. And so we did that, and then that night, I really just got this clear vision from God about how he works within us. And what it was, so to get these railroad ties out that were old, that had been rained on, snowed on, that were rotten, and roots had grown into them. We had 4 or 5 guys digging in there with shovels. We had to pry it up. We tried to pull it up, and only half of it would come out. So now we have to dig in through the dirt, through all the roots, and it was a lot of hard work. It was not easy. And what that was to me was that we'd try to pull it out, and then we'd take the brand new one, the crisp, perfect railroad tie, and we'd go to put it back in, and we realized we hadn't taken enough dirt out. We hadn't taken enough of the old one out. And so then we had to pull the new one back out. We had to keep on digging. And that's what God showed me, is what he does. He goes inside of us, and he takes the things he takes our guilt, and he takes our sin, and he takes the things that we've lived in for so long, and he scrapes us out. He scrapes all that earthly stuff out so that we can be brand new. And then all of a sudden, he puts in this brand new, crisp, real clutch, perfect thing that we can't do on our own. And so when I just said God restores broken people, that's what it's like. It's like he just loves on us so much, and he teaches us as we press more into him, and then he just plops these new pieces of us in there, in place. But the point of it is that it's not easy, and you have to break through roots. And so that was where I really came to grips with that this wasn't going to be an easy thing, and that I had to push through a lot of that old rotten stuff that had grown in. So then moving on to the next year, my junior year of high school, I, through Kanakuk, got involved with this thing called After Dark, which a lot of y'all probably know what I'm talking about. Some of you don't. It was an event here last year in January, and I'm not a very smart person, and you can ask the guys that I live with, you can ask the golfers and my friends. I am nothing that is all that special, I promise you. And God was able to use me and a group of people we put on a one-night event last year. There was just under 2,000 students from Belmont, Vanderbilt, and Lipscomb. And it was really, really awesome, and God did a ton of stuff. Basically, what it was somebody came from Kanakuk, they spoke and did this really powerful sermon. But what the point is that God restored me and is still restoring me, and through my brokenness, now through all of that, I'm still struggling with all the same sins. So I'm still struggling with it, and people don't know because, I mean, what am I going to do at Lipscomb? Admit that I have a lot of sin? That's tough. So but God was able to use me still. And so I would just use that as encouragement that God only uses broken people because that's the only choice he has. There's nobody on the earth that's not broken. So he's starting to do a lot of really cool things in my life. I started dating a different girl, junior year, and that relationship was where I was really finally able to, we dated for 4 months. I was able to honor all those things that God had taught me from the past one. I was able to use a lot of the wisdom that God had used other people to show me, and it gave me a lot more confidence going forward in whatever I do in life, whether it's relationships or not, like job, work, disciplines, anything like that. That when we set ourselves goals, when we accomplish things, just like if you're an athlete or whatever you are, you gain confidence, and that's what it's about. You have to build yourself up because Satan's going to try to break you down. Okay, so now we go to my senior year, and after dark, I kind of started feeling like kind of low because I was really stagnant, because I was doing this really cool thing that took a ton of work, ton of time, and all of a sudden I didn't have much going on in my life. And I just was like, okay, I need to just start doing something. It doesn't matter what it is. And this is where I realized that God's not realistic. I realized this. I was talking to one of my best friends, or probably my best friend, Steven Fungafat. He's awesome. And we were just talking about life and whatnot. And I looked at him, I was like, Steve, man, like, God is not realistic. Like, what are we doing? Like, keeping our dreams and our hopes to reality. Like, that, like, read the Bible. What happened in the Bible is not realistic. That's why it's hard to believe. And so, coming out of After Dark, coming to now, I'm at this point where people will tell you when you're growing up, we get told, like, get a good job so that you can have a good family, so that you can be secure, so that you can think realistically. People will tell you that going out and changing the world or whatever that is great, but too much risk is probably not the smartest thing. But we only get one chance to live here, and that's really like what God is showing me. I get one chance to live on this earth, and I'm not going to spend my time thinking realistically. That's a waste of what God's given me, and what he's shown me. And so what I would, I guess, challenge y'all with, and challenge you to help me with, is that let's not hold ourselves to a realistic standard that the world wants us to. Like, we are meant to be Christians in the light of the world, but you can't be the light of the world, and we can't shine that if we do these, like, easy, realistic steps in life. Nothing amazing ever happened by people not taking amazing steps. MLK didn't just decide one morning, I'm going to have a dream speech and a bunch of people are going to show up. He did a lot of crazy things that people didn't think he should probably do, and it was risky. And so I want you all to realize that no matter where you're at, and God has shown me that no matter where I'm at, because my life is always going to look like this. I'm not up here and all of a sudden I've met Jesus and I'm perfect, because that is not the reality. I struggle with every sin that I struggled with before, but now I'm able to deal with it better. And my temptation is less, and God has empowered me. And so I would just charge y'all to look around at who are you with, who are your friends. Like, let's start just like helping each other become the awesome, amazing people that God created us to be. And I just want to share one last verse with y'all, or one only verse is 2 Timothy 2:22, and it says, so flee from youthful passions and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord with a pure heart. And that verse, so it says to flee from youthful passions, so flee from sin. Whatever sin is in your life, flee from it. It's not going to be easy. like digging out that root. It's not going to be easy. It's hard. So flee from sin, and then pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace. So all these awesome things. And then it says to do it with other people who are calling on the Lord. So where like Jesus, he obviously like sat with the sinners and all that stuff, and he loved every person. But who did he walk with? He walked with his 12 disciples. Get some dudes who are following, or some girls, obviously, for girls. Get people in your life that are following God and just walk with them together. And that's my story. That's where I'm at. That's how I got here. If any of y'all want to talk any more about that, if you want to go any more in depth about relationships, or for the dudes, just like temptations and things like that, I can offer up the wisdom that I've been shown, but I'm certainly not perfect. And any of y'all feel free to say hi to me. My name's Nathan. On campus, I try to say hi to a lot of people, so you can say hi to me back. That's it. I really appreciate y'all taking the time to listen. I hope you have a really great week. Mark's gonna talk still, but just remember to try to slow down every now and then. Try to not let the world get at you so bad. Go ahead, Mark.
All right, thanks. Thank you.